From 2015, the Liberal Party are communicating that necessary reform to universities is too hard. Apparently, they don't know how to tell the public subsidizing degrees 50% is more feasible and may be extended indefinitely, while subsidizing degrees 75% is not affordable in the long term. Too often, the Conservative parties have outsourced their policy arguments to the Institute of Public Affairs. The IPA has held the flame of freedom of speech, reason on global warming and fiscal responsibility, as well as excellence in education. The IPA has been very effective and efficient, but Conservative parties have been reticent to embrace the good policy work, partly because the Libs were being undermined by Turnbull, but now because Turnbull, as leader, doesn't recognize good policy. Maybe Turnbull is afraid someone will do to him what he did to Abbott, and Queensland, and Victoria, and South Australia. For some, at the moment, the Sex Party has more credibility. From 2014. It was not a funny joke, but yesterday this column pointed out the accusation that the ARL was governed by women was illustrated by the inability of the ARL to decide who was the best and fairest player over a season. Today, Braithen Asta, nephew to George Piggins, who was locked for Souths when they last won a grand final over 40 years ago, and a former Bulldog who previously has won a grand final as a Bulldog, said he couldn't pick between the two contestants for 2014. Maybe Jason Clare has at last evidence that chemicals are changing athletes. Another unfunny joke was serial liar Julia Gillard endorsing the doormat Hillary Clinton as presidential candidate. Former Australian Prime Minister John Howard has demanded Gillard retract and apologise for her slurs over 911. Gillard has accused Mr. Howard of using commandos to sex up a security issue. A despicable assertion and verifiable lie, but the left have a tendency to lie and inflate to change perception. Channel 9 News reported, "Did Mr. Abbott go too far in banning the burqa?" We'll tell you tonight at 6 p.m. They softened the accusation at the actual newscast, possibly because Mr. Abbott did not ban the burqa. Not a funny joke. What is responsible governance? Media seem confused and teachers have no opinion, so the kids don't know. British Malaya in the 50s had been compared to rape, torture, enslavement of women. UK had built almost 1 million houses in communities to limit the jungle incursions from communists. Islamofascists of ISIL rape, torture, enslave women, and kill people randomly. The UN seemed to struggle with knowing which is the better state too, but good governance produces a better state. Had China been a good governor, they would not now be frightened of a 15-year-old boy who has set up a pro-democracy movement. Neither rain nor light is afraid of an umbrella. Bad governance by scientists is telling too, not so much in matters of state, but in matters of collection of data. There is a need for an independent review of temperature data. At the moment, AGW hysterics who call themselves scientists are making outrageous claims unsupported by verifiable facts. Meanwhile, some politicians in the ACT jokingly fund a play to kill climate deniers. Terrorists are so poor they could only send $20 million to terrorists while collecting benefits meant for the poor. Compare that with good companies maligned by the press who claim they don't pay tax. Companies do pay tax, lots of it, and it helps fund the great lifestyle Australians enjoy. ABC approves Goulburn jail riots and feels it isn't notable prisoners calling Allahu Akbar while rioting are not a traditional part of Islamic culture that ABC needs to protect, but connected with Islamofascism that ABC needs to expose. Quentin Dempster blames mental illness on ABC programming. Sounds right. ABC choose a left-wing incompetent to be a regular commentator on federal politics, Paul Bongiorno, who failed when he was boosted by the Bolt report in 2013.